Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. People say that me and others are hating on the Boston Celtics for winning a championship. Now, I didn't hate on them. I just said the championship will not go down as an all-time great championship. It just won't. Not in Boston history, not in the NBA history, because they didn't play nobody. Now, I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they would have beat the Mavs and swept them in the finals, I was going to give them an all-time finals, I don't know, an all-time finals victory if they would have swept them. But they didn't sweep them. And they didn't sweep them because they did not want to win in Dallas. Everybody's seen it. It was obvious. They blew that game on purpose. You don't play like that. The game before, you was destroying them. That game, the next game, you pooped your pants by like 30. The next game, you destroyed the Mavs. So it was obvious. It was obvious that they wanted to take it back home and win it back at home, which is fine. But now it wasn't an all-time finals victory. It just wasn't. And to me, you didn't have it wasn't it was a team domination, but you didn't have any great any players on the Celtics really dominating in those finals. So to me, they could have been finals co-MVPs. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Both of them had two good games, and Drew Holiday and I would say Porzingis had the other one. They played nobody in the playoffs. Whew. The NBA is going to take a big hit on this one. They're going to take a big hit. Everybody in the East set out. Kawhi set out. I don't know, man. I mean, you got a lot of young players, but I don't think they're going to be able to carry this league. You got a lot of aging players like LeBron James, James Harden, PG, Westbrook, Curry, Clay, Green. I just don't see how this league survives in the next 5 years, as far as it being a big sport. I just don't see it. I see it something like, baseball, hockey. They're gonna have like their fan base or something like that, but it just won't survive and be as famous as even 10 years ago. They've been promoting one loser for 21 seasons, and you know they talked about the Celtics on ESPN, and guess what they had to talk about then? Bronny. This is the stuff that's killing your league. People cannot take your league serious anymore. They can't take it. Nobody likes his father. And now you're trying to drag a kid into the NBA that averaged 4 points per game as a circus act. His father's career has been a circus act. It hasn't been anything of truth, grit, hard work, skills. And now you're dragging his son in here that can't even play basketball. He can't even play at the college level. And now he's going to play with the best in the world. I mean, the NBA is it's nothing new. They've been destroying their own product for a long time. I don't get it. I don't get it. It never happened when I was growing up. Everything was like so intimate with the fans. They cared about the fans. The NBA is over dramatized every single day with these debate shows, with social media, all that stuff. We didn't have that stuff when we was little. So we appreciated the NBA when we actually seen it on TV, the matchups. And the players appreciated playing on TV, especially on national TV, because they didn't play on national TV every single day. Or, national fans didn't get to see him play on TV every single day. So they appreciated the fans. They appreciated the time on national TV. They were competitive. To me, they were cementing their legacies. And they had a bar to reach that the other guys set that was in front of them. Or was that was behind them. Whatever you want to say. This era right here, there's no more bar. The bar is so lowered by, the antics of LeBron James. And we have just made it about money. And truthfully, I don't think these players care about the bar that was set in the past. All they care about is money. And it might be because how the world is, period. Now, everything is just about money. It ain't about nothing else. So you can't really blame these players these days, but, you know, I know when I was watching basketball, these players had a bar before them that was set. When I watch the 90s guys, you talk about the bar that was set in front of them. You talk about Magic Johnson and Kareem and Oscar Robertson and Jerry West and Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell and all these great players of the past. That was the bar. Larry Bird, Dr. J, even when you go back to the 80s, you have people like, Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, all these players, even if you want to get into the late 80s, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Dominique Wilkins, all these people seen that the bar was set high by other players like Oscar Robertson, Wilt, Russell, Cousy, all these great players. Havlicek from the past. That was the bar they was trying to reach. It wasn't about money. Money just came with the game. So when it became about money, I think it became about money more in the 210s than trying to reach that bar that was set by players in the past. It just became about money. So now they could lower the bar and just make up a lot of nonsense. I've always known it to be championships, finals MVPs, and statistical titles. That's the only bar I knew, or that's the only bar that these players in the past knew. That's what they were trying to get. Most of them was trying to get the statistical title during the year that proved they was the best in the league at their position or at that statistical category. The second was the MVP to prove they was the best in the season as a player. And then the championship, trying to prove they was part of the best team in the league. And then the finals MVP, if it was available. You basically knew who was going to get the finals MVP anyways. It's usually the leader of the team or the leaders, the top two guys. So it was a big thing, but it wasn't the all and be all. It was the championships and MVPs and the statistical titles. It came in that order: statistical titles, MVP, and then championship. It came in that order during the season, but of course, you want the championship to be first. But no, these players no longer cared about that. I would say about in the 210s. They just care about money. You got us, not us. You got these fools believing that the greatest scorer of all time only has one scoring championship in 21 seasons. Wow. Oh, goodness. And they'll tell you he's the greatest all-around player with no rebound titles, one assist title, no steals titles, never a 100-block season, never 200 steal season, the greatest player of all time because of a stat line that's inflated. You just got to feel sorry for this guy's family. 21 seasons going on 22, and they trying to figure out what this guy's going to do next season? Supposedly worth over $1 billion. Could you imagine going back to work to run a court after 22 seasons being worth over $1 billion? Whew. Man, this guy must owe the devil a deal. This guy must owe the devil something because, wow, what wife would let her husband come back and run the court for year 22? For what? Even if it was with Bronny, who isn't even an NBA player. Because everybody knows it's fake and phony and fraudulent. So the moment isn't even real. It's not like Griffey Sr. playing with Griffey Jr. Griffey Jr. was a great player. You're doing all this to keep the NBA a circus act? Wow. It's pretty sad. But this is what the NBA fans, the casuals, this is what they like. They don't watch the NBA. This era of guys don't watch the NBA. I'm talking about the young people. In their 20s, in their teens, they don't watch this. They wake up and read a stat line. They know this is boring. They know the results. Lakers are going to be, all they're going to talk about is the Lakers all season. They're going to be in the play-in. How come this player ain't doing this? He need help doing this. This coaching. It's the same stuff every single season. Whether it's in Cleveland, LA, it's the same stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to watch it every day. The people who are 40 and 50 are not going to watch this trash like that. When I was young, the people that was in their 40s and 50s, they watched the hell out of the NBA. And the people in their 20s and teens. We all watched the hell out of the NBA. We all had teams. Our stars didn't jump from team to team. We didn't hear about these contracts and this player getting this money and that money. It wasn't like that. We had rivalries. We had competitive teams. It wasn't a gimmick game. Three guys sitting at the three-point line, and then another guy playing one-on-one down the lane. That's a gimmick game, not positional basketball. And then they want to compare this era to past era. How can you do that? We played actual positional basketball back then. What are you talking about? How do you compare that? That's why ESPN is going down the drain. Because all they do is lie. Talking about, oh, Tatum silenced his critics. Who? Huh? When? The guy played like trash in the finals. He shot 30-something%. Was like 37? It's like worse than what LeBron shot in a couple finals. So if it wasn't for Porzingis and Drew Holiday, they don't win this championship. Not even close. They brought Drew Holiday over for Jimmy Butler to be a Jimmy Butler stopper. And brought Porzingis over for some defense, some shooting. So nobody's hating on this team. To me, this was the best team in basketball. Who was going to beat them? Nobody. Even if everybody was in full health, I don't think nobody's beating this team. Nobody. Then you got White. You just got Al Horford. You got too many good players. So nobody's hating that they won. It was just in the fashion that they won. They didn't play nobody. And if they would have played competition, it could have been an all-time great run. They didn't have to, beat every team 4-1 or sweep them. But the level of competition, them beating the Heat, beating Indiana, beating all these other teams, if their star players was there, yes, we could have been saying, oh, this is an all-time great team. I don't think Kyrie showed up. I mean, I give them credit for beating the Mavs, but I don't know where Kyrie was. This wasn't the same Kyrie against Minnesota. This wasn't the same role players against Minnesota. These guys didn't even look like professional basketball players. These were supposed to be so-called 3-and-D guys, right? On the Mavs, they didn't look like no 3-and-D guys. They looked like they could hit the three or play defense. Like I said, you got Lively. What does this guy do? If this guy ain't catching the alley-oop, what can he do? He has no footwork in the paint. He can't create his own shot in the paint. And he's getting paid millions of dollars for this? That's why nobody watches this crap no more. Because you're trying to tell me that these guys are getting paid all this money to be, not even be a quarter of what the centers used to be back in the days. You got dudes winning what 3, 4 defensive players of the year ain't even had 3 blocks a game. You got dudes in the '90s didn't even win defensive player of the year and they had 3 blocks a game. That's how competitive it was. You got to be kidding me. I mean, so I won't be surprised if they repeat. If they keep the same team, they can repeat. But if they don't play nobody, I'm gonna say the same thing. It's not that they're not a good team. I think they're a great team. They got a better team than anybody else. But you got to be real. It wasn't an all-time great run. Just wasn't.